If you've ever come to Mozambique and have seen John and Maria at work, we often get the questions asked like, how does John and Maria know so many people? How do so many people know them? And that's a really fair question, and it has had a really profound effect on our ministry. In Mozambique, it's not what you have, it's who you know that really makes a difference. And so walk with me a little bit and journey with me on Pastor John's kind of history. John was born before Mozambique was independent, and when he was in his late teens, early 20s, the country had reached its independence back in the mid 1970s. And he, because of the blessing that he was been able to get educated with the Catholic priests who took him in when he was a child, he was one of the very few people that ever had a high school education who was a black Mozambican. Because of that, when the country won its independence in the mid-70s, the first president, Samora Machel, and his wife, Graça Machel, who were leading the country, Graça Machel was charged with finding who in the entire country were black Mozambican men who were educated, who could teach the future leaders of this country. Well, that is what happened, and John became a high school teacher and taught Samora and Graça Machel's kids, as well as many other people who were in the government and forming the government, and who now are the political leaders of Mozambique. So his connection to the political leaders and large, important leaders all throughout the country is quite profound. In fact, at many points in his life, he was offered a job to work in the government, but John always denied this because he really wanted to stay true to what he felt was his calling from God, to be a pastor and to care for the people of Mozambique. So as we do ministry now, fast forward to the last 15 years, as we do ministry, John is very connected and he's very well known by the people in government. So when we go to a community like Marromeo, which is the community that we're trying to raise support with, when he arrives, we always let the local leader know that we're coming to do a conference, because gathering in a community with a larger group of people, it's not very common. So the local leadership wants to know what's going on. So he'll inform them and let them know, hey, we're coming in to do a conference. Well, word spreads that Pastor John is coming into town, and then the community district administrator, which is now a bigger government person who is in charge to oversee that community, got word, and so she invited John to a meeting at her office. And at that meeting was where she was just super grateful for the work that John has done. When she found out that he was born in Marromeo and came from that very community, she was very touched that he would come back and look at how he could bless that community. And so she began to express what the needs were for that community, and we'll talk a little bit more about that over the course of the next few weeks as we run this campaign for Marromeo. But his political connections, his ties with government officials is really profound, because of his faithfulness, because of how he's served his country by educating the leaders, and also by just his goodwill, and how God has just given him much favor because of the good work that he's been known to do, especially in the last 15 to 20 years of his life. So that's a little bit of a history, if you will, of Pastor John and why he's so well connected with all these leaders. Thank you, friends, as you consider helping support this campaign for this community in Marromeo, a community that has great needs, and is near and dear, not only to us as a ministry because we love to help people who are in need, but even a little bit more near and dear because it's the community where John kind of came out of. So thank you for your support in that, and we pray that you would just continue to pray continually for all the people of Mozambique, which so many are suffering and hurting and have so many needs. I pray that we can make just at least some of an impact, at least help a few in the Marromeo community. Thank you, friends.